Welcome back to our second video set of notes for our last lesson in Unit 7, Lesson 7.5 on scale drawings and models and all that kind of stuff. You read about scale factor. That was one or two sentences. And basically what it's saying, hey, when you have a scale that doesn't have units, you really have the scale factor of whatever it is you're talking about. So, in other words, if I had a scale of 1 inch to 5 feet, I would want to change that to the same units to find the scale factor. So I would take 1 inch, I would multiply this by 12, because there's 12 inches in a foot, and I would get that over 60 inches. So now all I need to write is 1 over 60. This is the scale factor for this scale. This is the scale factor of that scale. So scale factor is the scale written with the same units. So when you don't see units, then it should be scale factor. All right, moving right along. A sketch of a fashion designer's shirt is 9 centimeters long. The actual shirt is 1 meter long. What is the scale of the drawing? So in this particular case, you got to write the scale, and that would be 9 centimeters, because that is the sketch. We always put the sketch to the drawing or the model first, to 1 meter. Okay, so that would be the scale. Remember, scale does not always have to have a 1 first. It could, but it doesn't have to. Most of the time it does. In this case, it does not. What is the scale factor of this drawing? So 9 centimeters to 1 meter. Well, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I would go 9 centimeters to 100 centimeters, which is 9 to 100. So that is the scale factor. No units on scale factor. All right? Moving right along, the scale drawing of a rose is 3 inches long. The actual rose is 1.5 feet long. What is the scale of the drawing? So again, 3 inches to 1.5 feet. That would be the scale. You could simplify this and say 1 inch to 0.5 feet. You could. And then it would be in the form that you really like to see. What is the scale factor of this drawing? And in that particular case, if we chose the first one, 3 inches over 1.5 feet, we would get 3 inches, well, converting feet times 12 again, that would be 18 inches. And that would be 3 over 18, which is 1 over 6. If you simplify this right here, 1 inch, half a foot is 6 inches. So there's the scale factor, 1 to 6. Moving right along. Finding the actual perimeter and area, the scale of the drawing of a miniature glass mosaic tile helps you see the detail. So in other words, the actual tile is smaller than the picture. It's smaller than the drawing that they gave you because they want you to see the detail. So there are times when the actual thing is smaller than the drawing. Well, what if you're in science and you're trying to study a cell in your body, a human cell or a plant cell? Those things are microscopic. So if you really want to see it to understand it, they would make a drawing that's much larger. Anyway, in this particular case, we're going to find the perimeter and area of the scale drawing. So perimeter, remember perimeter is the distance all the way around. So over here would be 4 centimeters, up here would be 4 centimeters. Adding them all together or multiplying 4 times 4, because they're all the same. So 4 times the 4 sides. That would give me 16 centimeters as the actual, as the scale drawing perimeter. The area, well, area is multiplying length times width, which just happens to be 4 times 4 as well. And 4 times 4 again is 16, but now the units are going to be different. This would be centimeters squared because area has square units. It says find the actual perimeter and area of the tile. Well, we see that the ratio is 1 centimeter to 4 millimeters. Well, if you don't understand that, there are actually 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So the actual one is a lot smaller. But then we have a 4 centimeter side, so how many millimeters is that? Well, when you do your cross products, that's 16 millimeters. So the side length of that tile is really 16 millimeters. And again, if you wanted to find the perimeter, you would have, it's a square, so 16 times 4, that would be 64 millimeters for the perimeter of that drawing. Oh, The actual one, not the drawing, but the actual tile is 64 millimeters. And the area would be 16 times 16, which 16 squared, that's 256. That would be millimeters, that's right, squared, because we are finding area. So that's the actual perimeter and the actual area of the actual tile that we saw the drawing. Then, Joan, that kind of ends this one. Scale draw, please quick write number 2. It says the scale 1 inch to 10 feet. Find the scale factor. Find the scale factor. All righty? Pretty quick and easy. Write down any questions that you have regarding any scale drawings. Mark your highlight or circle or underline section of your notes you feel you need more support from Mr. Ross. Begin working on your assignment when you're done taking a quick break. Remember, 45 quality minutes using aggressiveness and urgency, using your time effectively. Coming to class with questions. Ladies and gentlemen, we have almost finished our next unit, our unit on scale, drawings, and constructions. Let's go.